you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your beer.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580. Keon Harold, he will be joining me in the studio next hour. And so just really appreciating his music all day. That's Frith Street. All right, so I'm being joined by my friend. She also happens to be a host here on KBLA Talk 1580. She hosts This Is Not a Drill Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 most weeks. She is the director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which is the real, actual Black Lives Matter. She is one of the lead organizers for BLM Los Angeles and a professor at Cal State LA, among many other jobs. She also ran for vice president last year, along on the ticket with Cornel West. Sorry, my apologies to the president of the Prince fan club. We're on the Keon Harold fan club bandwagon this morning. Dr. Melina Abdullah, welcome.
Hey, look, I'm on that Keon Harold bandwagon too. You know, the last time we saw him, we were together. What a tremendous brother. If I'd known, I would have tried to get myself up a little earlier and get to the studio to say hi.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, he's amazing. And I have an amazing lineup today because I have you on. I'm always glad to have you on, and I'm going to ask you to go back and forth between your activist hat and your professor of political science hat, because there's so much to cover today. One of the things that I really want to talk about, because I haven't seen it getting the kind of attention that one would hope, is the case of this young man, Jabari Peoples, a teenager, really a kid, who was killed by police, and he was just chilling. But the cops, from what I understand, were plain clothes. This is in Alabama, surprise, and so there's been a lot of confusion in the reporting. What happened was, and we know that law enforcement takes advantage of that. What happened? Are we, did they say they were cops? Did they not say they were cops? Of course, they always say they feared for their life. But this guy was just sitting there with his girlfriend, is what I understand. What happened with that case, and where are we?
Yeah, so on Friday, we staged a mass protest. This is Homewood, Alabama, so it's outside of Birmingham. And I've experienced a lot of police violence. But when we talk about the history of policing and how they come from slave catching, I haven't seen it as palpable as when we were in Homewood and who these cops are. They are absolutely disgusting. You're positive. I was positive when we were confronted by them that they just took off their sheets last night. Like they in the morning just trade one uniform for another. It is disgusting, and you can tell who they are. So Jabari Peoples is this beautiful Black child, and we say children because we have children his age. He's 18 years old, had just finished his freshman year at Alabama A&M. Here's what I didn't realize until the demonstration on Friday is that he's from this really loving, intact home with two other children. So his parents raised three children. All of them are in college. So he has a brother and a sister at Alabama State University. He was at Alabama A&M University. All of them were excellent students, straight A students, who are the kind of children that we pray for, right? That Jabari was home working for the summer. So after he'd gotten great grades at Alabama A&M, he came home and was working, and then was sitting on the soccer field with his girlfriend after a date. It wasn't even late. They were sitting in the car. And what we're hearing is that he was rolled on by a cop in an unmarked car and ordered out of their vehicle. Of course, they're afraid, and so they run. And Jabari is shot in the back by the cop. And the last words that he spoke is, "Sir, this is a phone in my hand." And we don't have anything else other than both the account that his girlfriend gives as well as the family. We've been demanding the release of the body cam footage. They have refused to publicly release the body cam footage, and the family was only given 1 minute of edited body cam footage. But in that 1 minute, what was reported is that Jabari's last words were, "Sir, this is a phone in my hand."
Mm. And this is in June of this year, so not long ago at all. I know I don't expect anything different because I know that the mainstream media has pivoted away from covering the murder of Black children, Black adults, anybody, other people who aren't Black. Like the coverage that we saw in 2020 and 2019 is gone. But I thought maybe because this child, is a football player, a straight A student, as you point out, an intact family, the car was unmarked, that maybe they would cover it, and they're not. There was a so-called investigation, they said it ended August 1st, but they're still not releasing that body camera footage. Is there any bystander footage? Is there any other means of, getting to the truth here?
Here's the thing. No. So there is no bystander footage that we know about. Remember, this is a soccer field. They went out on a date, and then they're sitting talking in the car after the date. This is nighttime, in not a big city in Alabama. And so there's no other footage that we know of. His girlfriend was not recording. So we're demanding the release of that footage, but we're also demanding the name, firing, and prosecution of that cop. There is no legitimate reason that Homewood is continuing to hold on to that footage. What they claimed initially is that there was an ongoing investigation. Jabari was killed June 23rd, so since that day we've been demanding the release of the footage. Initially, they said there's an ongoing investigation, so they can't release it. But the DA actually said that he is not charging the cop, the unnamed cop. So if that's the case, then there should be the public release of the unedited footage, and that is not something that's happening. And so this is why we have to organize, and that's what the demonstration was about on Friday, which I think was hugely effective. And if it weren't effective, if it weren't a threat to them, they wouldn't have rolled on us in the way that they did. Homewood police rolled on us dozens deep and didn't give any warning, just immediately started slamming people to the ground, arresting folks and holding them without bond. And so this is what happened as we continued to march. We did meet a lot of folks who hadn't, even in the small town of Homewood, hadn't heard about Jabari. And so as we came up on folks and began to tell them Jabari's story, we actually were met even with white folks who were tearing up, especially some of the students. We met a couple dozen students from UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, who hadn't heard about Jabari and had then committed themselves to help uplift Jabari's name. So people are going to have to organize, and you're right, mainstream media has not covered, but people like you, people like Capital B, Roland Martin, and others have been willing to talk about Jabari Peoples. And so we're going to have to keep pushing. And honestly, and then I'll be quiet, Dominique, if we're honest about it, you know, Trayvon Martin was not initially in the news. Mike Brown was not initially in the news. It took Black media and Black organizing to push those stories forward.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did see some local footage, though, from WVTM there in Homewood. And you can see Black Lives Matter grassroots organizers from more than one chapter. I can spot it because I know some of these folks. And also they say in the story here that there's Black Lives Matter Atlanta, Black Lives Matter LA, and I feel like I see at least one other chapter there.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter New Orleans, Birmingham, Atlanta, and Los Angeles were all there on Friday. Standing in solidarity with Jabari Peoples' family, and with BLM Birmingham, which has been organizing every single day in honor of Jabari Peoples. They're doing just a brilliant job, and I hope that people will follow them at BLM.Bham on Instagram.
I think I follow them already. Let me check. And of course, you can follow BLM Grassroots. And that's kind of the umbrella organization, the big organization of which all these, is it 50 chapters now?
52 chapters around the world.
52 chapters. All of them are part of the Grassroots umbrella organization, but each has their own local org. And so that's why you can follow BLM Grassroots, and you can individually follow the chapters to keep. Always love to hear your thoughts and questions at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach: transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal: prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
It does, and I'm talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah here, and wanted to share with you Dr. Abdullah. Molly Bell in our chat says that her and her prayer groups are praying for you. I love that so much. She says, Dr. Melina Abdullah, know that we, various prayer groups, keep you and your family and your life visions in our prayers. Be blessed. How do you seemingly be you? Well said.
Thank you, Molly Bell. Thank you, Molly Bell. We appreciate it. We feel those prayers, and them prayers do keep us protected. So thank you so much. And, of course, so many of you try to walk in your footsteps because you've been such a fearless leader for our people for such a long time.
Yes, and we're sending you joy, Queen, because Molly Bell's been struggling with her joy. Yeah. And I can see it. She's used to being at every single protest, and her doctor just won't let her do that anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's Blac August. We haven't talked a lot about it. We've talked some about it. I feel like, we're getting. This is the last week, obviously. It's also Virgo season. It's somebody's birthday. I should have started there. James yelled at me yesterday for not starting with Happy Virgo season, so I guess I should have started with you. Your birthday, Tavis's birthday, James Farr's birthday, Michael Jackson's birthday. Happy solar return in advance. But
thank you.
Yes.
It would be a Virgo that says, and you didn't say that it's Virgo season.
Yeah, y'all like stuff how you like it. But so let's talk about, before it's over, let's talk about a little bit about Blac August, what it is, how I guess you're winding it down.
Sure. So, actually we're not winding it down. I know it's August, but we're going to keep the principles of Blac August. We should be practicing them all year round. So Blac August was founded in the 1970s, and I know you've covered this already, but just as a quick reminder, founded in the California state prison system in the 1970s in honor of our freedom fighters and warriors and people like Comrade George Jackson, who were fighting from the inside of the prisons, who my Baba Hank Jones will talk often about how freedom fighters, Black folks inside, political prisoners, are those who've given up their freedom for ours. And so Blac August commemorates those martyrs and freedom fighters and political prisoners. And we practice 4 core tenets. We fast, we study, we train, and we fight. We fast, we study, we train, and we fight. One of the things that we're doing in BLM Grassroots is a collective read of George Jackson's Blood in My Eyes, so people can pick up that book. If you haven't read it already or don't already have it on your bookshelf, Reparations Book Club and other Black-owned bookstores should have Blood in My Eye Reparations. We confirmed that they do have it, so you can go there to get your copy. But in that book, it's really instructive for the times that we're in, because it talks about how Black people, George Jackson obviously is writing in the early 1970s. He was killed August 21st, 1971. he's talking about how we feel overwhelmed, how our neighborhoods are under siege, but how people who feel like they have less power actually do still have power, and how we kind of seize that power and come together. Those are his words. Settle your quarrels. Come together and discover your love and revolution, right? Fascism is already here. And so it's really important that we do that. So we study. And I also have an open class where we're talking about all of these things every Thursday from 3:15 to 4:15. Freedom Campus is back on. So if people want to explore this more, they can join me online on facebook.com/Melina.Abdullah, and we're talking about these things. Blac August Los Angeles is closing out Blac August. On the last day, on Sunday, August 31st, we're hosting the closing event at the Center for Black Power. So everybody is invited out. Blac August Los Angeles has been leading the work in LA around Blac August. So we'll talk about how the fight, that fourth tenet, fast, study, train, fight. So fast, be careful about what you put in your body. They say don't eat from sunup to sundown. I restrict what I eat from sunup to sundown. Study, read, fill your mind. Train, and I know you believe in this, keep your body strong. Keep your body strong. There's no time more important than now to get your body strong. You got to be able to outrun the popo, right? And then fight. Don't just submit to the fascism that's here, the fascism that's already here. We have to resist it. We fight. So at the Blac August closing, we'll talk about how we continue the fight. And this is why I say that for me, I think we're not winding down Blac August. We're winding down what's officially Blac August, but we're maintaining especially that last tenet of the fight as we fight back against fascism and unmasked racism.
And so that's, I think, why folks say it is a commemoration, not a celebration. It's not a party. It's not Juneteenth. It's about commitment and preparation.
Absolutely. And it's also a time, and I should say this, where we remember our political prisoners and freedom fighters. Right now, I hope people have been paying attention. Mumia Abu Jamal, who is still a political prisoner in the state of Pennsylvania, his eyesight is in grave danger. And so we are calling on folks to make sure that they push the state of Pennsylvania, to free Mumia, but also the immediate action that needs to be taken is around preserving his eyesight. So we're encouraging people to remember that especially during Blac August, we have to fight for our political prisoners. And people can actually call the detention center in Pennsylvania at 771-728-2573. That's 771-728-2573, and demand that, he be given immediate medical attention. We have to remember that H. Rat Brown, or formerly H. Rat Brown, who became Imam Jamil Al-Amin, is still in prison. And as we come up on the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina and the role that H. Rat Brown played in demanding freedom for our people, right? It's really, really important that we demand the release of Jamil Al-Amin, whose health is also in peril. And then we have contemporary freedom fighters like Jay Burton, who's inside Kern Valley State Prison, and we're demanding his release. He was arrested when he was 16 years old by the Linwood Vikings and L.A. County Sheriff's Deputy gang, and he continues to be held. So we continue to say free Jay Burton. And so all of that is part of Blac August, that we have to continue to fight for our freedom fighters. And if we don't, then we'll become the political prisoners of tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that seems to be, hopefully, it's becoming apparent. We only got a couple of minutes here before news, traffic, and sports, but I'm going to ask you to put on your political scientist hat. President Trump yesterday did a couple more big executive orders. One of them is he's saying he will withhold federal funding from Washington, D.C. if it doesn't reinstate cash bail. And so, that along with the arming of the National Guard that's patrolling D.C., the intended occupation of Chicago, it seems like very clear that the criminal justice agenda is targeting the poor and Black people. What are your thoughts on that executive order?
Yeah, one, it's absolutely sick. We have to remember that cash bail is a policy that only impacts poor people, right? In the name of Waukesha Wilson, in the name of so many who died inside the jails because they simply couldn't afford to bail out. This is why there's been decades-long fights against the cash bail system, because it is a punishment that only impacts poor people and working class people. Everybody else, Trump's kids, right, can bail out because they got the money. We do not have the money, and so it's an unjust practice. But also we have to remember that a lot of these mayors and a lot of these local leaders capitulate. So we want to push decision makers in Washington, D.C. and everywhere else to push back against Donald Trump. One of the things that I don't think I've ever quoted Gavin Newsom before, but Gavin Newsom did remind us that a lot of these cities and states, we actually pay more into the federal government than we get back from them. And so that should straighten our backs a little bit and say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to oppress our people for you. We're going to do what's right for folks in D.C., for folks in Chicago, for folks in L.A., and really poor and working class folks all around this country.
Yep, and I just want our KBLA delegation to note there's a build here. There's a strategy here. Bringing in the National Guard, we're occupying Black cities. Now we're arming them. Now we're getting rid of cash bail. All of these things are like stackable cups. They're all part of a plan for us, and I think we should not take them as separate acts, but as an overall program. What does it add up to? We've got news, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Israel is investigating a deadly double strike on Gaza's Nasser hospital that killed at least 20, including 5 journalists. Former peace negotiator Gershon Baskin says,
It is incumbent on all of us, particularly the friends of Israel, like the United Kingdom, to demand that this war come to an end.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a tragic mishap. Alabama's literacy law is holding back nearly 5,000 third graders, many of them Black, after failing the state reading test and summer retake. About 8.5% statewide are repeating the third grade, raising concerns about equity and access to support. And Drake now owns Tupac's original Death Row pendant worn for the All Eyes on Me album cover. He showed it off on Instagram after buying it from collector Alexander Bitar. The price was not disclosed. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In Santa Ana, we still have that overturned wreck blocking the 2 right lanes of the 5 southbound at First Street. That's causing some heavy delays from Chapman Avenue. It looks like in Boyle Heights, the carpool and left lane are blocked off on the 10 westbound before Soto Street due to a fender bender. That's causing a bit of a slowdown all the way from City Terrace there as well. And in Mid-City, there is a 4-vehicle collision, center lane, 10 westbound at Crenshaw Boulevard.
The Los Angeles Public Library offers free services for the whole family. With a library card, you can borrow movies and books for free. Visit lapl.org. That's lapl.org.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Angels manager Ron Washington met with his team before Monday night's game at Texas. He told his players he had quadruple bypass heart surgery on June 30th. It was the first time Washington spoke publicly about the health situation that forced him to leave the team on June 19th. The 73-year-old Washington, one of only 2 black managers in Major League Baseball, has been recovering at his home in New Orleans. Washington said he feels good, but he's been advised to sit out the remainder of the season. Washington hopes he can return next year. Bench coach Ray Montgomery will finish out the season as interim manager. After reconnecting with Washington, the Angels beat Texas 4-0. Venus Williams lost her first-round match Monday night in the U.S. Open to Karolina Muchova of Czechoslovakia. Muchova beat the 45-year-old Williams in 3 sets, 6-3, 2-6, and 6-1. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD. But did you know that black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
at the sun shining. Why don't you just let the sunlight in? I know you've been hurting, so just let the sunlight in. Just forget what they said, what do they know anyway? Today is a beautiful day. I know life has been painful, so much work and a game, but today is a beautiful day. Beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day, because I say beautiful day. I don't care what they say. Beautiful day, because I say.
KBLA Talk 1580. Let that heal you right there. Ooh. Let that make you courageous, strong, fearless, less fearful in this environment. He'll be joining me next hour, Keon Harold. And I told y'all we were going to have a whole bunch of music, art, beauty this week, this whole month. We'll be joined by Amitaf Ra tomorrow. More on that. She's just an incredible new jazz voice from Morocco. So yeah. Got a lot going on around here. Right now I'm talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah, and she is the director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which of course is Black Lives Matter, and lead organizer for BLM LA, but also a political scientist. So I asked you to put on the poli-sci hat for a minute. We were talking about these executive orders, the one that says, he's going to bring back cash bail, get rid of cashless bail, also requires the formation of a special National Guard unit for public order, which is basically turning them into local cops. And there's another executive order about flag burning. And when I said they're stackable cups that are part of a bigger program aimed at a certain person, namely you, KBLA delegation, a certain profile of person, I feel like the flag burning is part of that too. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of threats against protest and dissent. And that's what he's been doing, is threatening protest and dissent. We see this also, as you talk about stackable cups, also this ripple effect, right? It's creating more cup stacks, right?
Yeah.
So you got the federal stack of cups, but unfortunately in a lot of these cities and locales, they're jumping on this unleashing, where,
right,
they're coming after protesters, they're coming after Black communities, they're coming after Black youth. And so this is what we're seeing happen all around the country. You can see it in D.C. And I keep telling people, look closely at those videos. Those harassments and arrests and brutalities that people are experiencing aren't just the federal troops. In fact, when we think about Afeni, who, was probably the most viral arrest, she was arrested by D.C. Transportation Metro Police, right? When we think about what just happened in a park, there was a brother who was just arrested by park police. So, these are police that we used to call rent-a-cops, not even real cops who've been, I think, wanting to get some so-called action, and they see it. They actually see the presence of federal troops as a green light for them to do what they wanted to do all along. And so, yes, they're coming after protesters. They have new reasons now, new rules, new executive orders that give them ways to come after us. But also, as we talk about assaults on cities with large Black populations. And even though as a percentage, Los Angeles doesn't have a large Black population, as numerically, we got a lot of Black people, right? And cities that are led by Black mayors, we got to make sure that we don't capitulate to their fascism and become fascists themselves. We got to be saying things other than we can brutalize our own people, which is kind of the subtext of what people like Muriel Bowser and others have said. You know, let Metro do it. No, these are young people should be allowed to take the subway, right? Young people should be allowed to exist. People should be, it's supposed to be a First Amendment right to protest. And so we should be doubling down on that, on protecting free speech, protecting our young people, protecting our poor people. As Donald Trump declares war on unhoused folks, we should take that as a reason to say, well, everybody should be housed. And that should be what our counter is, not just, you know, local will do it themselves. It should be, this is the kind of world that we want, need, and demand.
Yeah, it's also interesting that these executive orders reach in to local policy. They're trying to get rid of any kind of orders that stop police from not just not working for ICE, but actually turning, you know, undocumented folks over, or folks giving information on people that are arrested for other things. So at the same time, you know, they lean on states' rights for things like abortion. In this case, they're trying to go in and micromanage city policing policies in order to give the ICE agents more latitude and flexibility.
That's right. And even things like oversight, how most cities are not doing a good job, but even things like oversight are under threat. And so we need to make sure that we double down on what it is we need, which includes oversight and accountability and protections. So it's not enough to say no federal troops. We have to be saying this is what the difference is, right? This is how LAPD is different. This is how DC Metro Police are different. And of course, in BLM, we still believe all cops are bad. But
right, that's the what abolition means is to end policing as we know it and replace it with another kind of public safety system.
Absolutely. And as we talk about Trump's lies, you know, one of the big lies in pulling in federal troops is that crime is increasing in these cities and we have to keep cities safe. Well, no, crime is plummeting, especially violent crime is plummeting in the cities that he's targeting. In fact, in many places, including D.C., they're at 30 and 50-year lows, right? In Los Angeles, crime is plummeting. And so when we recognize that, that's not because LAPD or DC Metro Police or Chicago PD are doing good jobs. It's because of investment in community-based public safety. So when we think about organizations that are doing community-based public safety all over the country, Concerned Men in D.C. is doing a phenomenal job. In Newark, right? There's probably the best data is out of Newark with Newark community street teams, right? Driving down crime. So Trump is lying in order to scare people into thinking that they need federal law enforcement, federal forces like ICE and Homeland Security and all of that. But really, this is the safest in terms of community violence and community crimes that we've ever been in many of our lifetimes. And so the real threat is law enforcement or so-called law enforcement themselves.
Talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah, when we come forward, we haven't spoken on the situation, the murder of a Black woman in Norway, but I want to talk about that case when we continue. Dr. Melina Abdullah is here. We're taking your phone calls at 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima. You know where you're at. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Imagine a world without heart disease and stroke, where every person has the chance to live a full and healthy life. Join us for a walk to save lives at the American Heart Association's Greater Los Angeles Heart and Stroke Walk, Saturday, September 20th at the Rose Bowl. Every step made and every dollar raised means more people learning CPR, more life-saving research, and more time with the ones we love. Sign up at heartwalkla.org. The LA Heart and Stroke Walk is sponsored by Optum, UCLA Health, Keck Medicine of USC, and Dignity Health. Thinking about going electric? Now is the perfect time. Electric vehicles cost less to run, don't need gas, and need fewer repairs than gas-powered cars. You can also save with federal and state tax credits, and in some areas, qualify for rebates on home charging stations. To learn more, visit www.breathesocal.org. That's www.breathesocal.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
I hate that drop, Mandy. I just feel like I don't want to say we knew you'd stick around. We hope you'll stick around. We're grateful that you stick around. I'm just not that brazen with it. I'm happy that Dr. Melina Abdullah is sticking around, though. You can hear her Saturday mornings on This Is Not a Drill from 8 to 10 on KBLA. And I was going to draw you into this other battle, but I think I won't because we've got folks on the phone. I want to go to Lynette from L.A. Hi, Lynette.
Good morning, Queens. Thanks for taking my call. I know we've been here before, the mass incarceration.
Uh-oh, I think we lost.
Whatever.
Okay, there she is. Yeah.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good morning, Queens. Thank you for taking my call. I know we've been here before with this mass incarceration bail stuff, now detention. However, I don't see any real changes in how we're dealing with it. I mean, definitely we got to stay prayed up and protest and everything. But where is it where we going to be able to divest and, ask our government, our governors and everything to take their pension funds out of prison industrial complex, and about this big, beautiful bill. Where is it we don't go to court behind? Because, they got money in there to take away money for voting. And when Trump talked about no more mail-in voting, that let me know something, too. This is all about subverting our democracy as we know it. And so we can also go to other extremes, too, like the international courts, and say, hey, listen, we don't have a democracy anymore. and to the UN and everybody else to say, we don't have a democracy. We got to fight for it. Can you guys monitor our elections now? And also, will you sanction the United States of America for what they're doing to its own people? Because this is unacceptable to have tanks. A comitatus, they say. This is against
posse comitatus.
The
that's what you're talking about. We're not supposed to have the military patrolling our cities, but yet they are.
Yeah, and Acosta, y'all, watch this. Watch Acosta. This is coming out about, I think this has a lot to do with the president having low ratings, and he don't want everything to come out about, the Epstein files. But Acosta is going to be really, really a big thing to do. But we got to sue behind this big, beautiful bill and everything else, and I'm looking for the fight there. And also on Wall Street, there's going to be a protest with Nan and everybody on Thursday, So we got to get them where it really is hurting, because we've been down this road before. And divestiture,
okay, I need you to land for me, Lynette. You're hitting with a lot of great points, but I need you to come and land for me. Okay, you know what it is? You need to call. You need to call more often, so you don't have to get it all into one call. Thank you for calling, Queen.
Okay.
I'm going to God bless you too, handing the mic to Dr. Melina Abdullah to pick up on some of those points.
I mean, there are so many points to be made. I think it just underscores George Jackson's point, right? That he was writing in 1970 that fascism is already here. So one of the reasons, Sister Lynette, and thank you for calling in, Sister Lynette, is hitting so many points is because fascism uses a tactic of hitting us at all sides, where they're coming after everything from what's in the Smithsonian to cashless bail to flag burning to what I can teach in the classroom. And so the answer really is to organize. So we encourage everybody to be organized and to plug in and do the work. The thing I do want us to be reminded of is all of these things Trump is ordering, he cannot carry them out by himself. So when we organize, when we resist, when we refuse to give in, we actually can make him powerless. He's not going to take Mama Harriet's shawl out of the Smithsonian by his own two hands. Let him try. I would love to see what Mama Harriet's spirit did to him if he tried to touch her shawl, right? We have to, if we don't carry out his plans, if we don't carry out the plans of the devil, then the devil is powerless.
Okay, let's go to Eric calling us from Carson. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Dominique and Dr. Abdullah.
What's on your mind this morning?
I'm sorry. I wanted to address cash bail. My employer was a part of this process. So the thing that I'm confused about is that it was established to remove the unfairness that typically was directed towards Black and brown people with limited resources. So in my limited knowledge, I would think that there hasn't been a sufficient amount of time to assess the benefits of the cashless bail, and Trump is removing it, which makes me believe that it's prejudicial. And of course we know it is, but that's what it's.
Yeah. I think Eric was right in the middle of his point and we lost him. Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Right.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Did you hear everything I said?
Yes. Yes.
And brother, you're right. There's the data. So cashless bail systems are fairly new. We've been fighting for them. And this is what I should have said. We've been fighting for the end of cash bail for decades. But winning cashless bail systems is very, very new, post-2020. And as organizations, but also as scholars attempt to study the impact of cashless bail, what we do know is that cashless bail has not driven up the crime rate. So we do know that there is no negative impact in terms of crime statistics on cash bail. What we don't know is if cashless bail in any way means that people are less likely to return for their court date. Just from a perspective of what's fair. We know that it is not fair to punish people before they've been proven to have even committed a crime. Anybody can be arrested for anything. That's what just happened in Homewood. We had 6 of our folks arrested for hitting a sidewalk and being prepared to say the name of Jabari Peoples. They were arrested in a system that requires cash bail, which costs organizationally almost $10,000 to get them out. If this had been a cashless bail system, then we would have been able to argue that there was no crime committed once they got to court.
Yeah. We don't have time for this, but I want to at least mention it, which is that the president says he's firing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. It's unusual. It means he's, seizing control of this organization. I know you're not big on defending the Federal Reserve, but it is interesting that seems like everybody this man is targeting is a black woman when it comes to government jobs, and everybody that he's targeting in terms of cities is a black mayor.
That's right. So again, I'm not a Lisa Cook fan. I'm not a Mayor Muriel Bowser fan. However, this man, I love what Chicago mayor says about him, about his energy, his, what does he call it? Small hand energy or small energy, right? His energy is clearly, he is deathly afraid of black people, especially black women who are truth tellers. And it has been black women who've been the tip of the spear in fighting for black freedom. And so even when they think they've found a comfortable place in oppression, black women are still targeted by Donald Trump. So I think the lesson is don't try to find a comfortable place in oppression, fight for black people. And yeah.
All right, we've got 30 seconds, Dr. Abdullah. How you want to use them?
So we want everybody to plug into the work. Follow Black Lives Matter Grassroots on all social media at BLM Grassroots. You can follow me at Doc Melly Mel on social media, and you can join us Sunday night at 7 o'clock as Blac August Los Angeles hosts the closing of Blac August at BLM LA's Center for Black Power. That's free. That's Sunday night at 7 o'clock. And, of course, meet us every Wednesday in these streets as we protest Nathan Hockman and police associations at 211 West Temple.
That's tomorrow. Dr. Melina Abdullah, thank you so much for coming on. It's always informative and fun to talk to you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Sister Dominique.
We're moving to the music. Keon Harold is next. Looking forward to it on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump could be rethinking whether he will deploy National Guard troops to Chicago.
I didn't get a request from the governor of Illinois, who is affected maybe more than anybody else, right? And I think until I get that request from that guy, I'm not going to do anything about it.
Pritzker says he isn't inviting Trump to send the National Guard to Chicago to combat violence. Latrice Green, a black hospital worker from Detroit, Michigan, was shot and killed by her ex-husband, Mario Green, while working at